Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a kind and beautiful girl named Cinderella. She lived with her cruel stepmother and two wicked stepsisters who made her do all the household chores. Cinderella's days were filled with sweeping, scrubbing, and serving her unkind family, but she never complained, remaining gentle and hopeful. Cinderella's only friends were the birds and the animals in the garden. She often confided in them, sharing her dreams and sorrows. Her stepmother and stepsisters, however, mocked her and gave her rags to wear, making her life difficult and lonely. One day, an announcement was made throughout the kingdom. The king was hosting a grand ball at the palace, and every young maiden was invited. The prince would choose his bride from among the guests. Cinderella's stepsisters were thrilled and immediately began preparing for the ball, trying on beautiful gowns and fancy jewelry. Cinderella longed to go to the ball, but her stepmother forbade it. "You and your rags," the stepmother sneered, "stay home and clean the house." Heartbroken, Cinderella watched as her stepsisters left for the ball in their finery. She sat by the fireplace, tears streaming down her face. Suddenly, a soft light filled the room, and her fairy godmother appeared. "Why are you crying, dear child?" the fairy godmother asked. "I wish to go to the ball, but I have nothing to wear," Cinderella replied. The fairy godmother smiled and waved her wand. Instantly, Cinderella's rags transformed into a stunning gown of silver and gold, and on her feet appeared delicate glass slippers. A pumpkin outside turned into a magnificent carriage, and the mice became horses to pull it. "Go to the ball, but remember, you must return before the clock strikes midnight, for the magic will end," the fairy godmother warned. Cinderella thanked her fairy godmother and climbed into the carriage. At the ball, everyone marveled at the mysterious princess who had arrived. The prince was captivated by her beauty and grace and asked her to dance. They danced all night, and Cinderella felt as if she were in a dream. As the clock neared midnight, Cinderella remembered the fairy godmother's warning. She quickly excused herself and fled the palace, but in her haste, she lost one of her glass slippers on the stairs. The prince found the slipper and vowed to find the owner. The next day, the prince and his servants visited every house in the kingdom, searching for the maiden whose foot would fit the slipper. When they arrived at Cinderella's house, the stepsisters eagerly tried to squeeze their feet into the delicate shoe, but it was too small. Cinderella's stepmother tried to hide her, but the prince insisted that every maiden try the slipper. When Cinderella put it on, it fit perfectly. She took out the other slipper from her pocket, and the prince knew he had found his true love. The prince took Cinderella to the palace, where they were married in a grand celebration. Cinderella's kind heart and gentle spirit had triumphed over her hardships. She forgave her stepmother and stepsisters, who were humbled by her generosity. Cinderella and the prince lived happily ever after, and her fairy godmother's magic continued to bring joy and wonder to their lives.